So a video that I have been meaning to do for a while, and it's basically just an informative video to tell you about. We always talk an awful lot about what's happening at the front end of the NLV process, but there's also a lot of people already here now renewing their visas, and the stage 2 that we call it here in Spain is quite a complicated process as well. It's not to be forgotten. And this video is going to talk about what's happening with the appointments for stage 2 and the fact that things have changed. Now, first of all, let's just go back to what we always explain, that remember that if you are a third country national, then you will need permission to live in Spain, and that permission normally comes in the form of a visa or a resolución favorable, which is issued by the subdelegation of the government here in Spain, the immigration department, if you are renewing a visa or an EU family member, for example. Okay, so if you've got your visa or you've got your resolution which says, yep, you can be a resident in Spain, then you will need to go and do an appointment called a toma de huella. Toma de huella literally translates to taking of the fingerprint. Okay, now these appointments are only 15 minutes long, well, unless you go to a certain police station in Almeria where the lady there is very objective and likes to spend an hour doing it. But jokes aside, normally take about 15-20 minutes, and they're very simple as long as you've got the correct documentation. But they are now extremely hard to get. Now these toma de huella appointments, it's incredible how difficult it is to get one now across the provinces. So some of you might say, well, I tried straight away and I got one. Great, lucky. But in general, it's really hard to find them. Now, on this video here that you're seeing here, it's been going along with this whole course of this video. You will see I'm going through the provinces and trying to book just one appointment. Now we're going to fall on Granada, which actually is the only appointment I was able to book when going through, and you'll see there's only 2 days available. Okay, most of the time, this is, bear in mind that Malaga has 7 police stations, Alicante I think about the same, Granada has 3, Murcia has 3 as well, Almeria have 3. So you'll see that there are plenty of stations, but there's just a lack of appointments. Now, the reason I want to express this is because if you're one of our clients or you're a client working with somebody else, you have to be patient with that person while they try and get you an appointment. It's not always possible to get the station and the date that corresponds to your wishes. It's just impossible. Unfortunately, we have to, in the case of Alicante, for example, we have couples which have to go on different days because we only get 3 choices when we go in the system, and when we book, we come out of the system, go back in, they give us a range of different dates. It's impossible to get people there. Evidently, we've got then to manage the logistics of getting a translator there in the documents, but that's our problem. That's not our client's problem. But we do ask to have patience if you get 2 separate appointments. If you are in a couple, please, unless you have a really massively good reason like unavoidable surgery, you have to go to that appointment. It's really hard to get a different one. Just to put that into context as well, the appointments are now running in most provinces at the end of May, and I have just booked for the middle of June, and we are in April at the moment. Okay, so I'm going to talk about that in a minute as well, and how that relates to your visa maybe expiring and stuff. But yeah, so we try as early as possible. As the moment we get the permission, you go on the list and we try and get the appointment, but it's not always possible to get them quickly and not always possible to get them together. And if you want to cancel an appointment and rebook, that makes it really hard as well, because we don't have an option of checking for an appointment and then switching it. All we have to do is cancel yours and hope that another one comes up, because we can only use an NIE number to do so. Okay, so we had one recently going to Malaga. The person didn't like the appointment, so we cancelled it. It was at the end of April. I've just rebooked it for middle of June, and that was only 2 weeks later. So they're moving on quite quickly and running quite far in the future. The good news is we are getting them done, and they are coming through, and they are getting registered. Okay, so it's not a problem, but patience is a virtue with all of these administrative procedures, and we do ask that please go to the appointment if we get them for you. As you can see in this video, so a video that I have been meaning to do for a while, and this is, I've been scrolling through, no appointments to stop now, but no appointments. It's just, and we do this every single day. That's a 5-minute video for one appointment. Okay, so you can imagine, and we didn't get it, so we'd have to go through that again, depending on the province and stuff that we are looking for. That's our job. It's not a problem, but it's just to let people know when you do arrive in Spain, these appointments aren't the next day. Sometimes we're lucky to have cancellations. Sometimes they pop up and we're like, right, grab them and go. We get the documents prepared as quickly as possible. But yeah, it's a dire situation at the moment with the Toma de Huella visa registrations or registrations appointments here in Spain. But it's not to worry. If you've got your visa, one very important thing that we have to stress is if you are waiting for an appointment, that appointment gets booked after the expiry of the visa, as long as your entry stamp is in date, okay, before the expiry of the visa, then you'll be given that date. We've had a few cases now. We recently in April attended appointments in Almeria that we booked in January, and the visas hadn't run out in January. We booked them in January, but the visas ran out at the time of the appointment because they didn't have 3 months in the future. It wasn't a problem. It would be a problem if you travelled after the expiry of your visa. So you have to stay in Spain. If that visa expires and you're in Spain, you've got your correct entry stamp, you have to stay in Spain and not let that visa expire, and then go to your appointment, and then you'll be able to travel. All right, so that's it. Just another update video from me. It's not all bad news, but it is just an update and to let you know that these appointments are tough to get. Don't panic, because we are getting them. Sometimes you'll find there's places that open at 7 o'clock on a Sunday morning. We find that on Friday morning. Sometimes they open up at 11 points during the week. We have key points when we check, but we actually constantly check in virtually 3 or 4 times a day. So they will happen, but patience is a virtue. They're happening now. We're booking appointments for June now, but we can't book them until people get their visas. This can also affect the healthcare, because we can't register healthcare with the S1 until this appointment's happened. So make sure you have sufficient medication. Check out our S1 videos and stuff like that. If you've got private healthcare, it's not actually going to affect you because that private healthcare is in place. But it could affect your driving license that's changed, for example, because you have got 6 months to do so. So you're definitely going to have your appointment done by then. Alright guys, just an update from me. If you like the video, please subscribe to our channel. We have got more weekly updates coming, more out and about videos coming, and more informative video coming as always. And yeah, we'll see you again soon on Upsticks channel.